Hello everybody and welcome back to another Civilization 5 video. So today we're looking at population equals science. Now why do I always say this in my videos that science and population equal each other? Well, it's because population directly impacts science, and that's how you get a good science generation, is by having a good food generation, a good population, a good steady growth on your pop. If we look over here, our first science building that you get is that plus one science for every two citizens in the city. So your first science building really depends on the amount of population you have in that city. And so here we're getting three science because we have 6 citizens. And also, every population gives you one science. You see here? 6 from population. So you're gaining one science per population, and you're gaining one science per two population. And so that slowly grows up in the early game. So that slowly gives you science in the early game. And the next building that will give you science is the university. Now the university is going to give you an abrupt 33% to science, and also +2 science from jungle tiles. Now this, you might say, that's less involved food because it's not like the library, which is depending on your citizens. Well, it still depends on food because those jungle tiles that are getting +2 science are going to give you food to your city. And so by giving 2 plus science to these jungle tiles and putting a market on it because you don't want to destroy the jungle, your city is going to be working more food than production because it's going to be focusing on these jungle tiles that give you +2 science. And so again, the food and science are mixed together. They work together for your city. If you have a lot of food in your city, you're probably going to get a lot of science in that city. And this is why people like to have 4 cities max, 3 cities, is because when you get large cities, big tall cities, we like to call them in civilization, well, you're going to be getting a lot of science from those cities because all of their bonuses match up together. The higher population that city has, the more science it will generate, and the more cities you have, the more science you'll have to generate because their technology is going to cost more. And that's why people don't want to go over usually 4 cities, 5 cities with tradition, with rationalism, is because they don't want to have that penalty on their technology too much. It's like culture. You get a penalty for culture for every city you own. Same thing with science. Each city or populated city you own will increase technology costs by 5%. So this is why you don't want to have too many cities, but you want to have tall cities if you're going science. And if we go look at the other buildings, we have public schools. Again, 1 plus science for every 2 citizens in the city. Again, another bonus for citizens. Population, food, again. And this last one, the research lab. Well, the research lab doesn't necessarily equal to a big population. But if you're in the modern era and you're going science, you're gonna have a big population because of you're gonna have a big population, and that's gonna give you a big science boost. And so having big science because of your food will automatically equal to these bonuses being good. The 50% more science in that city will automatically equal more science to you because of the food that you've transferred into science. So this is what I'm trying to explain here, is that even though research labs don't give you a direct relation between food and science, well, the food that you've been transferring, the food that you've been making to get more science with the library and the with the public school is going to correlate into more science because you've been already creating a lot of science. If you guys understand me. If you guys don't understand, write it in the comments and I'll try to I'll explain it better. But if not, we'll go to the next thing, which is rationalism. If you want to win a scientific victory, you need rationalism. If you do not take rationalism, you won't be able to compete against people that do take it. Rationalism will improve your science greatly. And so I'll go deeper into this into a science video, but I just want to clarify why food makes such an impact on science. Is because the both of them, they work like together. They are one. And so when you're getting more food, so when you're unlocking food technologies like civil service, like fertilization, you're automatically going to be upgrading your food and so that, your science, sorry. And so that's why you need to have a good pool of happiness also. If you're going tall, you want a lot of happiness because your food is going to be growing high. If you're focusing on food because you want a lot of science, you have to be careful for your happiness because that food is gonna grow. Your cities are gonna grow. You're gonna have more citizens, and so you're gonna have to be careful for the amount of happiness you have. That's a warning I have for you. And so let's do a recap real quick. Science buildings will use your citizens, so your food, to generate science, and other science buildings will either entice your cities to work more food or just in general upgrade the science that your population is already making for you. And so that's all I have for today. Do not forget, if you want to have good science generation, get a lot of citizens, get a lot of food in your cities. Make sure that it's just not a production city, but a food city that can grow. So that's it for today, boys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.